Both of these fighters have been training for these opponents for over 3 years. The fights just never materialized. Lots of other opponents in the way. So again, a brief exchange, a feeling out period here between these two fighters, trying to find the range. This is something we saw just 6 weeks ago at Hard Knocks 40 when Stephanie was in the cage then. Right hand from House there.
That's a nice combination there, a quick jab and nice leg kick. And you see that Stephanie Essensa, as she gets more into the fight, the longer that she's in the fight, the more relaxed she tends to get, and she starts to move forward. And you'll see that here, as she gets in and she gets used to the movement of Lynnell House, she'll really find a way to get inside. A very intelligent fighter.
Yeah, and we know that she can certainly take a punch after taking 3 rounds of punches from her last opponent, a world champion boxer in Lindsay Garbett, and Stephanie stood tall against her as well.
Not only stood tall, but in the 3rd round was definitely the better of the striking. So it's interesting to see how she'll be able to approach this fight. Of course, Lynnell House having a boxing background as well. So these are very good fighters here at the 115-pound weight class at a time where the 115-pound weight class is very widely contested in the UFC. Now that it's there in the UFC, there's lots of fighters that are coming out trying to make a name for themselves to get that invitation.
Yeah, 115, the last Ultimate Fighter weight class for women fighters in the Ultimate Fighter house, and now both fighters exchanging punches there, and neither one landing with too much damage. Lynnell House been a little more the aggressor here in round 1, Jeremy, but Essence has landed some good punches of her own. Coming in with the leg kick and 8 a punch for her trouble. House now trying to open up a little more here halfway through round 1.
Well, and this is also a different Lynnell House than we saw the last time she was in the Hard Knocks cage. It's been a couple years, and that was a nice left hook from Lynnell House. It's been a couple years, but she's a much more aggressive fighter, so it's interesting to see that aggression come forward, and these are some good combinations being thrown by Lynnell House.
Yeah, House came a little wide with the last right hand, and Essensa able to get in there and land a jab. Those ones falling just a little short. Again, good foot speed from both of these ladies.
Nice leg kick there by Essensa. There's a nice teep there from Lynnell House that was caught by Stephanie Essensa. And again, they're trying different forms of striking. There's a good counter punch, I should say, from Stephanie Essensa. She was able to dodge the jab and come over top. There's another good counter punch. And of course, CEO Arito mentioned earlier on how counter punching is such a valuable asset because you catch your opponent coming in, so it almost doubles your punch power.
Again, both fighters back and forth. Very tight first round. A little blood from the nose now of Stephanie Essensa. Lynnell House opening her up a little. Minute left in the round. Essensa trying the takedown and ending up with her up against the cage. Landed a couple good strikes on the way out, but now it's House enforcing her will up against the cage.
Lynnell House putting a lot of pressure forward on Stephanie Essensa, and again, after she ate a few of those shots after the takedown, it almost looked like she got a little bit angry. She came right after Stephanie Essensa and landed 3 or 4 really big shots, Ryan.
Again, Essensa counter-punching when House comes in. Nice leg kick there. Very close first round. Going to be tough for the judges to call. And just 20 seconds left in round number 1.
Good striking from both these ladies throughout this round. It'll be a tough one to call, but more Lynnell House than Stephanie Essensa, although Essensa started to loosen up after the first minute or so.
So short time in the round, and House trying to end it with a flurry, put an exclamation point on the round, but the better strikes may have come from Essensa there in the last couple minutes. And we are back underway here in round 2 of a possible 3 between these 215-pound professionals.
And they were unable to stop the nosebleed, and during the break, Stephanie Essensa's coach says, damn, your nose bleeds every single fight. And it's just one of those things that happens. Some fighters bleed, and it's one of those things that can be used as a target, and I'm sure Lynnell House doesn't need any inspiration to punch Stephanie Essensa in the head.
And Lynnell House seeing that as a target coming forward, and you can see Stephanie Essensa trying to take her down and succeeding, just driving through. And now you can see that rubber guard coming up here, that 10th Planet rubber guard from Lynnell House.
Well, and especially in the women's division, this rubber guard is such a valuable tool because the flexibility that women have over men just makes it such a good, strong position, and you can land some very good techniques from here, including the gogoplata and the omoplata, but good work by Stephanie Essensa and able to fight off that guard. And it was also an excellent takedown, Ryan, so let's not take anything away from Essensa's takedown.
House got in there with a right. She's starting to land punches up against the cage. The knee comes, gets one in return from Stephanie Essensa. Lynnell House trying to finish this fight and continue to come forward.
You can see the blood pouring out of the nose of Stephanie Essensa.
Exchanging jabs there.
This striking from Lynnell House is something else. She's landing some very good shots, and she's just coming in with a jab. There's a looping punch, and it's almost like she got punished. She said, Stephanie Essensa was saying, hey, you've been giving me these great punches. That one wasn't up to par, so I gotta let you know why. And she throws a nice straight right that does some damage.
Trying to come in with the elbow that time was Lynnell House. And again, Essensa not backing down. Again, we've seen her take high-level striking before in a very close decision loss, and now is again facing some high-level striking here today. But you could see, Jeremy, once the fight got down to the ground, Essensa got in that rubber guard, popped out of it, and was content to let this fight get back to her feet.
And that was a good return, and these are some good returns coming from both fighters, as every time a fighter gets one punch, the other one returns with something, and it's very good MMA when you're countering your opponent's punches with another punch.
And again, strikes landing that time, both throwing a kick at the same time. And the blood coming from Essensa's nose all the way down her body here, Jeremy. And again, trying to drive through for another takedown, but nice defense there and keeping her feet backing up, using the cage to her advantage is Lynnell House.
Well, and I know that Stephanie Essensa would rather stay and strike, so the fact that she keeps trying for these takedowns is showing what this striking is doing from Lynnell House. And good takedown defense again from Lynnell House, stopping Stephanie Essensa, who had a good shot. She was in deep, and it was just the underhook that took away the leg attack, and good work by Lynnell House.
Trying to find her range still, Stephanie Essensa. On the back end of the striking so far. A close first round. This round more in favor of House as the striking has continued. Just under 90 seconds left in round number 2 of 3. Again, a shot to the cage, and this time the takedown successful. Had enough room to drive through that takedown.
Well, and it was well timed. She timed it on the cross of her opponent. And what happens on the cross is Lynnell House's hips square up as she's able to throw that big punch and land some damage with it. Stephanie Essensa avoiding it by shooting underneath and catching those square hips and getting a nice takedown, Ryan.
So Essensa on top here with a minute to go in round number 2. Lynnell House done a very effective job in striking so far, and the 2 times it's gone to the ground, Jeremy, a good job of neutralizing any offense from Essensa.
Well, and you see a combination. She's got the foot in the hip, and she's also working for the rubber guard, now back to a conventional guard. So Stephanie Essensa now has an opportunity to work here in this guard, and she's laying down some pretty big punches, but she's got to be careful. As you see, that right leg of Lynnell House is just trying to be sneaky and sneak up there and catch Stephanie Essensa a little overexposed so that she can slap on a triangle.
Again, as you mentioned here, Jeremy, potentially looking for an arm bar here, trying to pull one through. Just 7 seconds remaining in round number 2, though. Not likely to finish this one off. She'll end with the submission attempt. Third and final round here between Stephanie Essensa and Lynnell House. House in the yellow and black trunks, the black shorts for Essensa. And again, House trying to find her range in the early going of the round. Has probably got the better of it on the feet through 2 rounds so far. Although credit Essensa, Jeremy, when House does come in, she's landed a couple shots of her own, some nice counter punches as well.
When the advice from her corner was that she did not like the leg kicks, and Stephanie Essensa has come out with 4 good solid leg kicks to start this round. So perhaps, and again, listening to her coach's advice, and perhaps that will open something up on Lynnell House, using those leg kicks to open up the striking game.
Yeah, try and take away the speed and the power base. Try and take that away. And now you can see for the first time Lynnell House checking the leg kick here in this round. So you got to think that it's starting to affect her if she starts to check them, which is something we see a lot from our fighters.
Well, checking a kick can end a fight.
As famously happened to one Anderson Silva. But again, Essensa relentless with those leg kicks here in the early going. Another one there, and she keeps trying to land them. Anytime House gets a little too close for her liking, she throws that kick, and you can see that she's starting to think about it, Jeremy, because that leg came up a little early. Essensa waited until it came down and snapped a leg kick to the outside.
The tough part is for Essensa is she definitely lost round 1, and round 2 was close to call, and I think that she really needs to come out and try and finish the fight. And leg kicks, although effective and looking good in the eyes of the judges, if they're there and used to open up something else, then that's what she needs to do. But she needs to get on it with only 3 minutes remaining in the match.
Again, Lynnell House likely on top of the judges' scorecards through 2 rounds. Essensa needing to finish here. So far, Jeremy, I'd say Essensa's had the better of the 3rd round. With halfway through the first, she's landed a variety of strikes. She's slowed down Lynnell House somewhat, and you can see House now getting out of the way of that leg kick and now trying to come forward, and Essensa able to meet her with a stiff right hand now twice in a row.
Well, the striking from Lynnell House is definitely slowed here in the 3rd round. And like you said, every time that she comes in, that's a vicious leg kick. Every time that she comes in, Essensa is landing a good counter. So it's one of those things that Lynnell House has never been stopped in a fight. So it's interesting to see whether or not Essensa has that closing power. It all really comes down to that 2nd round and how it was called. If it was more Essensa, then Essensa's on the way to a victory. If it's not, then it's going to be a very tough decision for her yet again.
And credit Lynnell House, Essensa has landed some big shots, and she keeps coming forward through them. So, I mean, you've seen House's head. Often when you're judging boxing, you look at, did the head snap back as a result of the punch? And I can tell you, Lynnell House's head has snapped back quite a few times, but nevertheless, keeps coming forward, showing no ill will. A nice little combination there from Essensa. Minute and a half, just under that, to go here in round number 3 between these two 150-pound professionals trying to make their mark, trying to get into the UFC, trying to get to the sport's highest levels, and doing a good, nice showcase here for both fighters here in this fight.
Nice combination there from Stephanie Essensa, and a nice kick it back right again. Again, Essensa is winning this 3rd round. Just needs to really kind of throw caution to the wind here with 50 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's a little too close on the judges' scorecards from my point of view to be holding back, but she certainly has round number 3 here to this point, and not much going to change the mind of the judges if this one stays on the feet, because Essensa is going to get the 10-9 here. 30 seconds, you can hear Lynnell House's coaches telling her, urging her on, trying to get her to push forward, maybe try and finish this fight. A very close fight between these 2 women as we get towards the end of the 3rd and final round.
Nice strike combination there from Stephanie Essensa.
Credit Mike Short for what he was able to do with the cut there. Essensa trying to put an exclamation point on the round with a takedown, and she does as time runs out here on the 3rd and final round.